Well, Eugenie, well done into the third round at Indian Wells for the second consecutive year. You must be really pleased with the way you controlled the tempo out there tonight.
Yeah, I was ready
What
for...
makes a seasoned competitor speak up right now, at this exact moment, when the pressure is peaking and the spotlight feels almost suffocating? Because this isn't just a casual prediction. It's a bold public belief placed on someone the world has suddenly started doubting. And that alone should make you pause. Why would someone who understands the brutal rise and the even more brutal fall of elite performance step forward when confidence seems fragile, when scrutiny is louder than ever, when every mistake is magnified? Is this quiet support or a warning disguised as optimism? Because when a player who has lived through overwhelming expectations says a struggling star is about to find her form again, it raises a chilling possibility. Maybe she's seeing signs no one else recognizes yet. Maybe the narrative we think is unfolding isn't the real story at all. And if that's true, then what's about to happen next at one of the most psychologically demanding stages in tennis might not just surprise fans, it could completely flip everything we thought we understood about pressure, performance, and the moment when doubt turns into something far more dangerous or far more powerful. And here's where things start to feel uncomfortable. Because what everyone sees on the surface, the missed shots, the tight matches, the visible frustration, that might not be the real problem at all. What if the struggle isn't happening on the court, but around it, above it, pressing in from every direction? Because success changes the rules in ways no one prepares you for. When you rise fast, the world doesn't just watch. It expects, it measures, it waits for proof that you deserve to stay there. Every win becomes normal. Every slip becomes a headline. Every moment of hesitation becomes evidence that something is wrong. And that's where the trap quietly forms. Not failure, but the fear of failing in front of everyone. The terrifying shift from playing to win, to playing not to disappoint. From instinct to hesitation. From freedom to pressure. And once that shift begins, it doesn't announce itself loudly. It creeps in silently, tightening decisions, slowing reactions, planting doubt in moments that used to feel automatic. So, the real question isn't whether performance has dipped, it's whether something far more dangerous has taken hold. The invisible weight of expectation that turns confidence into tension. And turns every match into a test of identity, not just ability. And if that's what's truly happening, then what comes next isn't just about form. It's about survival under pressure most people can't even see. And now everything tightens around one place. One stage where pressure doesn't just exist, it multiplies. Because this isn't just another stop on the calendar. This is Indian Wells Open, a tournament where rhythm breaks, patience gets stretched, and even the smallest cracks in confidence don't stay hidden for long. The conditions slow everything down, which sounds harmless, until you realize slowing the game means slowing the mind. And when the mind has more time, doubt has more space to grow. Every rally lasts longer, every decision lingers, every hesitation becomes visible. Players don't just compete here, they endure. And that's what makes this moment feel so dangerous. Because a place that demands control can either rebuild belief piece by piece, or quietly expose how fragile that belief really is. There's no rushing through discomfort here, no escaping momentum shifts, no hiding from emotional pressure. If confidence is even slightly unstable, this environment magnifies it, which raises a chilling possibility. What if this tournament doesn't just test performance? What if it reveals the truth about where things really stand? Because in a place designed to stretch mental limits, breakthroughs and breakdowns can look almost identical, until suddenly they're not. And this is where experience becomes unsettling, because when someone who has already lived through the full storm, the meteoric rise, the overwhelming spotlight, the sudden shift in public belief, speaks with quiet certainty, it's rarely random. Eugenie Bouchard isn't just offering encouragement. She's recognizing a pattern, the kind you only see after you've felt momentum slip through your hands while the entire world watches. The kind that starts subtly, small tension, small noise, small doubt, before turning into something that reshapes how you perform, how you think, how you carry expectation itself. And that's what makes her confidence feel almost mysterious. Because people who have experienced pressure at its most unforgiving level don't speak lightly about turning points. They notice signals others ignore. They recognize emotional fatigue before it becomes visible. They understand the fragile line between temporary struggle and something that can spiral if left unchecked. So when belief comes from someone who has already walked through the psychological extremes of elite competition, it raises a quiet but powerful question. Is she predicting a comeback, or identifying the exact moment where everything could still go either way? Because sometimes the people who sound the calmest are the ones who know just how close things can come to breaking. But the most dangerous opponent in this entire story isn't standing across the net. And that's what makes it so hard to fight. Because the real battle isn't physical, technical, or even tactical. It's exposure. Constant, relentless, inescapable exposure. Coco Gauff isn't just performing in matches. She's performing inside a non-stop global conversation that never pauses, never forgets, and never lowers its expectations. Every reaction is captured, every mistake is replayed, every expression becomes interpreted as confidence or collapse. Imagine competing while millions analyze not just what you do, but what it means. And that's where the pressure mutates into something far more exhausting than competition itself: perception. Because once performance becomes public identity, every dip feels personal, every struggle feels permanent, and every moment carries the weight of proving something to people who are always watching but never feeling the pressure themselves. That kind of visibility doesn't just test skill, it drains emotional stability, slowly, quietly, relentlessly. And the terrifying part? You can't train against it, you can't outwork it, you can't silence it. So, the real question isn't whether the game is being played well enough. It's whether anyone can stay mentally steady while living inside a spotlight that never switches off. And if that spotlight tightens just a little more, what happens when even the strongest focus begins to flicker? And this is where everything becomes frighteningly delicate. Because confidence doesn't collapse all at once, it erodes in tiny, almost invisible moments. A fraction of hesitation before a swing, a split-second second-guessing of instinct, a serve that once felt automatic suddenly needing conscious control. And that's the terrifying part, because nothing looks dramatically broken, yet nothing feels completely secure either. At the highest level, the difference between dominance and doubt can be measured in inches, or in a single thought that arrives at the wrong time. Once uncertainty enters, it doesn't stay contained. It spreads, tightening movement, slowing reactions, turning natural rhythm into forced precision. And the cruelest twist? The talent never disappears. The skill is still there. The ability hasn't gone anywhere. But belief, the invisible force that allows everything to flow, begins to flicker. And when belief flickers, performance starts searching for stability instead of expressing freedom. That's when matches stop feeling like opportunities and start feeling like tests you might fail at any moment. But here's what makes this moment so tense. Confidence can return just as quietly as it fades. Sometimes it rebuilds in one match, one sequence, one moment of pure instinct breaking through hesitation, which raises the question that should make every observer lean forward. Has the recovery already begun beneath the surface? Or is the tipping point still approaching, waiting for one decisive moment to determine which direction everything falls? Now everything balances on a razor's edge, because moments like this don't just shape results, they rewrite trajectories. If momentum suddenly returns, the entire narrative flips overnight. Doubt becomes resilience, scrutiny becomes admiration, and every recent struggle transforms into part of the comeback story. But if stability doesn't appear, if hesitation lingers just a little longer, the questions grow louder, sharper, heavier. That's what makes this phase so unsettling. Both outcomes can begin the exact same way. A close match, a tense rally. A single pressure moment where instinct either takes over or tightens. From the outside, it may look like just another performance. But internally, it could be the precise second where belief locks back into place or slips further away. And the most intense part? No one watching can immediately tell which direction it's going. Breakthrough and breakdown often feel identical, right up until the moment they aren't. And maybe that's why this situation feels so gripping, because it's no longer just about competition. It mirrors something much bigger. The reality of performing while being constantly observed, constantly evaluated, constantly measured against expectations that never rest. This is what modern pressure looks like. Not occasional scrutiny, but permanent visibility. A world where recovery must happen publicly, where growth unfolds under commentary, where even silence becomes interpreted as meaning something. And that transforms performance into something far more complex than physical execution. It becomes emotional endurance, psychological balance, identity management under pressure. That's why people feel drawn to moments like this. Because beneath the surface, it reflects a universal fear. What happens when you're expected to be exceptional all the time, and suddenly you feel human instead? So now everything hangs in uncertainty, suspended between possibility and pressure. A prediction has been made. Signals are being watched. Every performance will be examined for clues, not just about results, but about direction. Is this the quiet beginning of resurgence, or simply the calm before deeper struggle reveals itself? The tension comes from not knowing which signs truly matter. The confident movement, the composed reaction, the split-second decisions under stress. Each one could mean recovery, or resistance just barely holding. And that's what keeps the story alive, because the outcome hasn't declared itself yet. Something is shifting, slowly, subtly, but no one can say whether it's building strength or testing limits. So, now the real questions begin, the ones no scoreboard can answer. Is the challenge unfolding right now more mental than technical? Can constant public attention quietly reshape how someone performs under pressure? And could this exact moment, this tense, fragile phase, become the turning point that defines everything that follows? Or are we witnessing something even more unpredictable, a transformation still too subtle to fully see, but impossible to ignore once it finally reveals itself?